Bar graphs and histograms are important univariate displays, and the last two that we'll look at in this chapter. So first of all, bar graphs can be used when one variable is categorical, and the main purpose for discussing them here is to make a distinction between bar graphs and histograms, because we do very little or no work with categorical data in this chapter. But anyway, a bar graph. In this case, the categories are Democrats, Republicans, and other major candidates. And this gives the percentage that each group got in the presidential election. So a histogram can be used when one variable is numerical and it is not used for categorical data. This graph is the people covered and not covered by health insurance by state in 1998. So the values of the numerical variable are divided up into equal width intervals or bins. Intervals and bins are synonyms. So if you look at the leftmost interval or bin, in this case the interval width is 1%, and this interval includes states that have non-coverage in the interval 9% is less than or equal to X is less than 10. So it's important that we know if the data is exactly 10% into which bin or interval it falls. In this case, it would fall into the one that's shown. Histogram intervals include either the left endpoint or the right, but not both. This histogram includes the left endpoint. A state with exactly 9% non-coverage is counted in this interval. A state with exactly 10% non-coverage is counted in then the one to the right. This is a frequency histogram. It gives the frequency or count, again frequency and count are synonyms, it gives the frequency or count of states in each interval. So on the left axis is count or frequency. So that bar, the leftmost bar, indicates that there are 4 states that have non-coverage in the interval 9% less than or equal to X less than or equal to 10%. Now we're switching to a relative frequency histogram, and it gives the percent of states in each interval. So the same bar now is at 8%. It was 4 out of 50 is 8%, so 8% of the states have non-coverage in that same interval. Looking at the important characteristics of the frequency histogram and the relative frequency histogram, the individual data points, 5-number summary, mean, and standard deviation, none of those are shown on the display. The frequency histogram and relative frequency histogram both are good for large data sets. The frequency histogram is okay for small data sets, and it is not good for small data sets. And the important characteristic of the frequency histogram is it displays number of values in each interval, and the relative frequency histogram displays the percent in each interval. And that gives you an overview of the two displays for univariate data sets, bar graphs, and histograms.